This is my multi-award winning, multi-magazine featured T4 rat rod that I spent a lot of years building, and I'm going to show you the entire full build start to finish from old pictures and videos that I've done on my YouTube channel. I put it all in one place, so sit back and watch the entire build of my T4 rat rod. This is how the van looked when I got it. It was just a box standard Caravel 1995. To be fair, the body was immaculate when I got this van. The paint job was immaculate, but the engine, it was a non-runner and it had gearbox issues. I used the angle grinder to kind of take all the paint off down to the bare metal. I even had to go through the zinc coating. All I did after that was I got myself some white vinegar. I brushed on the white vinegar to all the bare metal parts of the van. My idea all along for the rust was to have the rust patches on the van, but I really wanted to have that the effect of the rust running down the paint. An amazing airbrush artist. I gave him a call and asked him to come over to see if he could make well, as close as we can to natural looking rust run lines, if that's what you want to call them. It's kind of a mixture of the airbrush marks and natural rust lines running down the van. They've kind of mixed together to make, well, what I think is a really good effect. It looks quite natural. Oh, there it is. There's the goodness. Right. Here we go. Yacht varnish is on. Here we go. Let's start here. Trying to spread it out as thin as I can. I don't want big gloopy bits. I'm a bit nervous now, if I'm honest. This is a lot thicker than I thought it was going to be. It's like rubbing. It's like I'm trying to spread out like syrup across the van. Okay, it's the next morning. The van's been sat all night. Let's go and see how this has turned out on the bonnet. Now it's dried. Oh God, please don't let it have gone creamy and white. Oh. Yeah, boy. Check that out. Oh, it worked. Oh, it worked. Yes. How I did the interior on my T4 rat rod. The hard part of getting the first one on in the right place so the rest of it flows is done. I managed to get a gorgeous perfect curve all the way from the ceiling transition there. Look at that. Look at that curve. Also done it all in single piece. I don't want any joins anywhere, so I've got the long bits, so it's single piece all the way to the back of the van. So this curve, look at that, curves up all the way across. Now I can just slat them all in, and then when I get to this point, oh, where is it? Here, I've got to try and bring it down again. But the hardest part was this, making sure that was in the right spot for the rest to flow from it. Now I've got to figure out where these are going. Maybe along here. There's 3 there, 3 there. As you can see, it started to look alright, you know. As it started coming down the sides, it just flowed. The trick is to get that first piece in the right place so everything else flows from it. I've got to admit, the corners were a bit tough, but once you get a nice curve on them, and you can keep the tongue and groove to stay in, if that makes sense, then you're on to a winner. The flooring I went with is oak effect click together laminate flooring from B&M, and it was just a case of clicking it together, making some templates and cutting some bits for the bits that I didn't manage to get off the old floor, and that's it. Job's a good one. Floors together. This is how it looks. How I turned a 100-year-old Burmese Tigerwood antique cabinet into part of my camper van interior. First thing I did was to lose the leg frame base, whatever you call it, the bit on the underneath, because with that on it would be too tall to go in the van. Cut the end off, see how it was, and then I would clean it up and cut it back and shape it how I wanted it. Then it was a case of getting to work sanding off all the really old embedded varnish that had been on there for a long time. Now came the fun part, using the browning wax to stain the wood and try and bring the grain back. As you can see here, even with just the first coat of browning wax, the Tigerwood grain already starting to pop through. And there we have it, one finished door. Look at the grain in that wood. And then it was time to do the same to the cabinet itself. And there we have it, one finished Burmese Tigerwood cabinet. And there it is, cabinet looking stunning, if I do say so myself. And next job was to put it in the van. One thing I did want to happen though with this cabinet is I wanted the top of the cabinet to sit flush and level with the bottom of the window on the T4. So what I had to do was I had to make my own little brackets up at the bottom to raise the cabinet up, and then I used a piece of the same tongue and groove that I did with the rest of the interior. I actually put around the bottom to seal the gap up at the bottom of it, and then I stained that. And there we go, one Tigerwood cabinet installed in the van. The first thing I did was to start building the frames of each individual section. This large rear piece, this was going to have a piece of plywood put on top, so the storage part of it would be accessed from the back of the van when you open the tailgate. Then I made the other section of the seat, and this one here would be the part that houses the leisure battery. So this is going to have a piece of ply put on top as well, but the ply will have hinges on the back, so I'm able to open and access the leisure battery when I need to. Then I run the power wires from the TV and the ceiling lighting through the rear box round to where the leisure battery would be held. Then I built the frame for the other section of the seat. This piece here will actually become the slide out part that turns it into a bed, also doubles as storage for the bedding. What I did here was I built a single square frame, attached slats to it. I also attached slats to the top of the main box frame part. What that does is when you slide the frame out, it meets up with the other side of the seating, pulling the slats all the way across, and what it does is it basically turns it into a double bed. And as I said earlier, I put a piece of plywood on top of the leisure battery housing part, put some hinges on the back, job's a good one. And then was the fun part. I just started getting stuck in and putting the tongue and groove, the same tongue and groove I've used in the other parts of the van. I started slapping it all the way around and making it look pretty. Also tongue and groove the slide out front part of the bed. Then I had to make the door for the front part of the frame. This was so I'm able to get my bedding in and out when I want to. If you watched my other video on how I turned the antique cabinet into the camper interior, you would have seen that I actually cut the end of the cabinet off, which meant I had a spare door. So I actually wanted to use the door from the same cabinet. Then it was just a case of getting the browning wax out and staining it the same colour as the rest of the interior. Power, leisure battery in, and lights. I kind of cheated on this bit. On previous builds, what I've done with upholstery is I've bought sheets of foam and then cut it to size myself. But this time I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to go online, buy some really nice foam this time. And I actually had it cut to the sizes I wanted pre-cut. The side bolsters either side, I knew I was going to have to cut them to the shape I wanted them. But most of it I literally had cut to size, and it came perfect. What I did then was I decided to put it in the van. I wanted to make sure it all fit into place where it had to be. I wanted to try it all on for size. On my van, my plan was the rear piece of foam right at the very back of the van against the tailgate. What happens is when I slide the bed out, that piece of foam then slides onto the bed piece that pulls out and creates a double bed. The problem is with measurements and sizes, it was a bit of a ball ache, really, if I'm honest, because when I took the piece out the back for it to be the perfect size against the tailgate, when I put it on the bed, you had about half a foot of overhang. But I thought to myself, you know what, I'm just going to live with that. For it to have the look I want, I don't mind a little bit of overhang in the bed when I'm sleeping, so it doesn't really bother me that much.
Superstar disco, and we can ride looking like a super fly disco, and you can ride this though, and we can fly disco, and you can ride looking like a super fly disco.
Let's see what the van looks like, shall we? Okay, the first thing I did was to find a piece of wood to go on top of the dash. I know a lot of people cut the top of their dash off and place a piece of wood on, but I had a different idea. Okay, there you can see the shape I've done. I cut a little piece out for the where the instrument cluster is. I also cut another piece out on the left so I could still get my hand in and out of the little compartment. I also cut the bottom of the piece of wood to take the shape of the dash so it would sit level. What I noticed then was, if you look from the front of the van on the outside, on the either end you can actually see a slight gap underneath. But I planned for this all along. Okay, this is my idea. What I'd basically done was I got a piece of leather, I stapled it all the way along underneath the piece of wood so you wouldn't be able to see the join. What I missed out is as well, I also stained the piece of wood with brown and wax. Basically, I knew I was painting my dashboard red, but I didn't want to have that red reflecting in the glass when I was driving, so I wanted the top of it to be a bit mute. So what I did then was I cut the shape of the leather to the shape of the dashboard, cut 2 vent holes in it so they could just slide through, and then I attached it to the dash, and this is the result. As you can see here, it actually works really well. It fits perfectly. From the front, which you'll probably see in later pictures, there's no gap from the piece of wood to the dash. And to be fair, if you didn't know that was a piece of leather, you wouldn't really pay it much attention. Right, and then it was time to start painting the dash. I used a paint by a company called French Chic. This is the Alfresco range, and what this does is it dries so hard that it actually becomes like a plastic. And all I did was this with a brush. There's no brush marks in it at all because it dries without brush marks. This stuff's brilliant. Basically, I started masking up the bits I wanted to mask up, and I just started painting, just got on with it. As you can see here, I've put the piece of wood back on as the paint has dried. Put it all back together, it started looking nice, and then I thought to myself, right, I need to get on with the door cards to match. And there we go. Took the door cards off, took them indoors, started painting them up, give them a good few coats, make sure they were done. Then I decided to turn my attention to doing the window trim, the bit that goes up the sides of the windscreen, to make that tie in with the dashboard and the door cards. I also did the vents that go in the dashboard. It then occurred to me that my sun visors were wrapped in an old fabric that didn't match the interior whatsoever, so I had to tear the fabric off my old sun visors, and then I came up with a little idea of a little design to do on the sun visors, and this is what I did. As you can see, I used a stencil that I just printed off of my computer that I got off of Google, and just did some flames, made it look a bit ratty. I think it looks quite good. Then I decided, after all that, I needed a decent steering wheel that was going to match the wood interior and the different wood touches in there. So I managed to source myself off a really good friend of mine a old school wooden steering wheel from a classic Beetle that I had to buy a T4 Boss kit for, and I fitted it on the van. This is how it turned out. As you can see, I think this steering wheel works quite well with this interior. As you can see, you got it's all red now. I kept the old original leather that I did years ago. This is actually patchwork leather that I did years ago. Come down here, you've got the dash, you've got the wood that goes all the way along, you've got the leather piece down here that flows to the front, which hides the gap. All in all, I'm loving it. You got me rear view, not rear view mirrors. You got me sun visors with the flames. There we go. Proper sidebars fitted, side pipes even. The other one for the other side. This one's got a bit of chrome peel, but I think once they're fitted to the van, they're going to look fucking bloody awesome. Okay people, there's been a change of plan with the side pipes. They're no longer going to be side pipes. I'm going to make the side pipes into a badass all the way across rear double exhaust pipe thing. Okay, here we have the side pipe. What my plan is to do is to have this in the center bottom of my rear bumper, and I'm going to have this pipe coming out to here and then a pipe coming out to here, so a chrome tip there and a chrome tip there. To do this, what I'm going to do is flip it over quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to split the pipe here and I'm going to put a T-piece in, so the exhaust will go into the ear here. So basically an exhaust will come out of here under my van and join to my exhaust. This will help you get a better idea of what I mean. I'm going to cut this piece of valance plastic off here. See how I've got the little bit out for the exhaust? I'm going to just cut that all the way along there to there, and that exhaust is going to be like that, but here. Okay, let me show you what I'm working with here. This is now bolted firmly in place, and under here we've got the pipe that runs all the way down the length of the van into it here. So it comes out of there, runs all the way down the length of the van to the front with one muffler down there. Oh god, I'm knackered. So the hard part is all done. The exhaust is on. All I have to do now is attach my end pieces and the tips. The fun part. Okay, and here we have the tips that I got for my birthday with my lovely girlfriend. Lovely tips they are, just the tip. And I've cut these in there to put these on, and then I'm going to go clamp them on. Just on this one. Let's go stick them on. These are the last finishing touches now. It's been a bit of a journey this one, but I've got there. Well, it has been a bit of a palaver, but turn this off. But it's been all worth it. Have you ever noticed that only 20% of the people watching my content have actually subscribed to my channel? It's totally free. There's no costs involved in subscribing, just in case people think there is, and it will help the channel grow. So if you haven't already subscribed, please just click on the button subscribe. You'll get notified whenever I put a new video up, and it's free. A set of lights on eBay that are quite rare apparently. Proper vintage look to them, and they're going to work so well with the vintage look on my van. So here we go, check these out. Ta-da! Right, they turned up in nice boxing. Check these out. Saves me a lot of messing around, doesn't it? Yes. Look at these bad boys. Now, that is proper vintage looking. And this surround is what gets painted body colour. So you turn it over, you undo that screw, that screw, that screw, and that screw, and then this whole surround comes off, enabling me to paint it the colour of the van so it'll blend in. So then the van will have these nice big vintage looking rear lights. So that is what's happening today. I'm going to be taking off these covers, sanding them down quickly, and then trying to paint match them to my van. I've got the, don't mind my trashed workshop, I've got the right paint code for my van. The man couldn't scan it because of the linseed oil that's on the van before, so I've got to try and match this, but I think it's going to be a bit brighter than my van because the amount of linseed oil in my van's on it over the years has kind of darkened it. So I might have to use some satin black that I've got somewhere to just feather over it and give them a sand and try and match the patina. So that is what is happening right now. And by the magic of video, the other one's done already. So I've already shook this up for a while, given them a wipe down, give them a quick spray. See, that's already a lot brighter than my van. Look, as you can see, it's a very much lighter green than the rest of the van. So let's try to play around with some satin black and just give it a dust over, see if I can darken it down a bit. A little bit more and scuff it all up. I reckon that. Give that a rub in. And then give it a scuff up. Sandpaper. Scuff on the edges there. Get these back together. Let's put them back in the van, shall we? Oh, there we have it. Lights are done. Do you think it's time for a little bit of a montage on the loo lights? I think so. Today I am off to Santa Pod Raceway drag strip to do a photo shoot in my T-Full rat rod for a magazine. Yes, here we are, guys. We're on the strip. We are on the drag strip right now, getting a photo shoot for a magazine. How f*** cool is this? Right now we've got the door open. Put my fingers in front. Right now we've got the door open with the sunlight shining in shots. But yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll be honest, it's just really surreal. I'm stood right in the middle of the drag strip that I've for years and years watched cars go up and down, and I'm stood in the middle of it with my van. My feet are sticking to the floor. Look at this, I'm in this middle of this drag strip. Look, that's where I used to sit and watch cars race, and right now I'm stood here with my van being done by a photographer. The whole place is closed. It's really surreal. I can't get my head around it. It's just really, it's like I'm in a dream state or something being stood here. It's so weird. Look behind me. Look behind me. Look at it. It's weird. It's just so odd being here. It's mad. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm loving it. Look at this. And look at the sun and the sky today. It's absolutely crazy that I'm walking down this drag strip right now. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Well, people, that is that. I've had a really nice day at Santa Pod. It's so surreal being on the drag strip. Just for me, just us, no one else. It's crazy. Well, hello to our very sad ADHD customers today. Today's the day we say goodbye to my T4 rat rod. Yep, it's off. A bloke in Birmingham has bought it. And he's coming, well, he's not even turning up, he's sending a recovery truck to pick it up at 7 o'clock. So I've just got him from work. And this will be the last time you see her on the channel. Yep, time to say goodbye to the old girl. She's done me proud for a hell of a long time. She's won many awards, she's been in magazines. She's been one of the best vehicles I've ever had. If not the best vehicle I ever built. But it's time to move on to bigger and better things. So anyway, saying goodbye to the old girl. Got a gearbox in there for the new owner. Saying goodbye to the old girl. A lot of memories in here. A lot of memories. It's hard. It's really difficult, this. If I had the money, I'd just replace the gearbox and keep her, but I don't. I'm not like these other YouTubers that got money to spend on projects. I ain't got no sponsors. Don't want to get rid of her. Put my heart and soul into this van over 7 years. But here we go, slapping him down on the truck.
It's alright.
Yeah, these boys are loving me, loving it. You'll be on YouTube now.
Yeah, what's the YouTube?
Flick that switch closest to me.
What?
The one this side, closest. That's it. There you go.
Oi.
Yo, that was one lovely creation.
Yeah, man.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, man.
Ah, that's dope. I feel myself as well.
Yeah. I'm regretting selling it.
Oh, there's a little TV.
I'm regretting selling it. But
The TV.
Yeah, there's a TV.
there's a TV on the wall there as well, man.
It's so cold.
There it goes. Off to its.
I'm bringing there, bro.
Does it actually have some power into it? Because that is part of...
Oh yeah. You not hear it. It sounds like a muscle car, mate.
Did I hear it?
Yeah.
I'm so slow today. Oh my.
Yeah. There you go. You might have to switch the switches off, or the back,
yeah.
the back battery will go flat, man.
Yeah, go. You should have mentioned that. It's still in there.
Oh, this is making me not want to sell it now.
You got a plug in there and everything, bro. The lounge. Come on.
Yeah.
You're creative.
This is making me not want to sell it now. It's too late. He's already put the money in my bank, man. Yeah.
That's handmade, bro.
Yeah, it is, the whole thing. Right, there's his keys. Well, that's it. It's being loaded up. It's off. I'm getting emotional. Not getting emotional. Don't look at me. I can see you behind the door. Not getting emotional. I'm not getting emotional. I'm not crying. A lot of time, a lot of years, a lot of memories, and that meant a lot to me. Anyone that knows me knows what that meant to me. I've got to go indoors now. I can't look at it go. I look like a weirdo waving to them as they go past. My old friend.